Alright guys, what is going on, and welcome back to some more XRL highlights, this time around Sochi for the Russian Grand Prix. But before we get into it, I did a practice race on the Saturday, which was the Development League, and I got an absolute electric start from P19 straight up to P16 before we even get to turn 1. And then from here, people are just backing out, Snakes off to the left, Blake on the right, get past both of them, and then a nice lovely little round the outside. There was a collision on the inside of the corner. I managed to scoot past them all, but I ended up getting wing damage, so I boxed at the end of the lap 1, screwed up all the progress I made, so I'm on my way back to trying to recover. But on lap 6 I managed to catch up to the back of Tin Fara, and I've got a nice little run on him. I go round the outside, which then turns into the inside for the braking zone. I'm already past him before the braking zone, and I don't know, is that my fault? Did I cut across in the braking zone because I've already made the move, or did he just brake into the back of me? But regardless of that, I box again for a new front wing, and you wonder how the race ended. It ended just like this, me running too wide, trying to carry the speed, and that's me out of the race. So as you could probably imagine, my practice going into this one wasn't great. I did a lot, and I mean a lot of practice this weekend, but I could not get a setup that I was comfortable with. But literally 20 minutes before the race, I think I found a setup that was quite nice. I was tossing on whether to use that or the development race one, but I decided to use the dev one because I thought, well, that's the one I've been practicing with all week, might as well. And as you could probably tell, on my first lap, I went on the mediums. It wasn't a great lap at all. It's like third to last corner, I had a mad kick of oversteer, and that cost me a lot of time in itself, but you know, it's a 1:35.8, it's nothing special. So going on to my second lap, I slapped a set of softs on. I was feeling pretty comfortable. I'm already up compared to my last lap, and I run the slightest bit wide, and that is it. That's my lap gone. So, oh well. Time to do my third lap, all or nothing. Again, pretty decent start to the lap. And then the rest of the first sector and middle sector, it didn't feel impressive, like it just felt a bit average. Yeah, apparently I got a purple middle sector, not too sure why, but ended up running slightly wide. I got my braking slightly wrong for the back straight. And then this section, I really hate that section. I can't seem to get it right at all. I'm just awful at it. It seemed to be really slow, but this time it wasn't too bad, and I'm like a second up, and at this point I just want to finish the lap. It wasn't the best of final corners, but I'll cross the line and I'm P16, which sees me out of Q1. I ended up finishing 17th, which is basically last because 2 drivers didn't set a lap, so I wasn't feeling very confident going into this one anyway, and it really shows that I'm just off the pace. Various Q2 results in Q3, Classic gets through to Q3, which he didn't even expect to get out of Q1, similar to me, so the fact that he got through to Q2 and Q3, you know, fair play to him. He put in some decent laps and it was deserved. But for me, going into this race, I tried to start on the mediums in the development race, and that just didn't work at all. If you have a first lap incident like I did, you have to change front wing, and you have to go either to the hards or to soft runs, so I wasn't going to do that. So today I thought I'd start on the soft tyres, and we have 5 lights and away we go. And straight away it's a good start. I've just mugged Boofy off the line, you know, just made light work of him really, and all of a sudden I'm behind Classic, and oh my god, an absolute pile up has happened before we even get to turn 2. Safety car's out. I get a penalty for a collision with Classic when I didn't even touch him. That is a bit of a wind up, but I managed to get the POVs from a couple of the guys involved, and looking at Fiend's point of view, Sam is literally like lagging everywhere, and he's really the cause of the collision. I mean, looking at Stumpy's point of view, you can see that he's disconnected and then just jumps in front of him, and then everyone kind of just cuts across Stumpy, which I feel sorry for him because that ended his race before he even got to turn 2, and Rem, you know, had to go around the outside, try and hang it, and then got another bit of a tag from behind, and that's his front wing gone as well. But from my point of view, I made it out pretty cleanly, and then everyone else was pitting. People that started on the softs kind of pitted to the mediums, but I thought I'd rather have track position and try and long it out a little bit. So I'm up to P9, getting ready for the restart. I've got Boothie behind me, which, you know, we started on the same row of the grid right at the back, so for us to be 9 and 10, pretty decent start I'd say. And getting back to racing speed here, I kind of got caught napping slightly, but I just wanted to make sure I got a better exit than everyone else around me, but Joe's exit was better than mine, so he's off on the road trying to chase down the guys in front. I've kept Boothie behind me because he's on medium, so I lacked a bit of traction, so that'll do me. But everyone in front of me at this stage is looking a bit feisty, you know, they're kind of chopping and changing for positions, there's not a little gaggle of cars, and I'm thinking, you know what, I can easily take some of these guys. You know, EK Sam is, at the minute, still not even in the game. I mean, you know, I'm not even going to attempt to say what that McLaren's gamer tag is, but he's looking a little slow off this restart. So again, that's another place that I could see myself getting. And as we go into the final couple of corners, EK Sam is just trying to relog back into the game, and it is really starting to be a bit feisty here. McLaren's looking all over him. EK Sam's back in the game, but lags a little bit. I've now got a little run on him. I go towards the inside of turn 1 and I have to back out. You know, if you look at the line that EK Sam took through turn 1, you'd see that there was not a one car width through him, so there would have been an absolutely monumental accident between the two of us, but he managed to get past the McLaren into turn 2, and I'm fancying my chances, so I go all the way around the outside of turn 3, but couldn't quite do it in the end. And this is a bit of the theme for the next couple of laps. You know, he seems to be running wide in some corners, and I try to get enough for a run, but because I'm running a 5-6 setup to out more in the corners, I can't quite get the run on him. He's probably running like a 4-5, maybe a 3-5 setup, so I can't quite get past him on the straights, and it was really a theme that was happening over the next couple of laps. Until lap 7, where I'm going into the braking zone. I mean, what am I doing there realistically? As I go into the braking zone, I've just kind of accidentally flicked to the left on my controller, and that's an orange front wing for me. And even though the McLaren in front of me is making mistakes like that, like, I should be right there. If that wasn't for the fact that my front wing was gone, I'd be right there ready to capitalise going on to start finish straight, but I just can't anymore. I've not got the turn in. But I stayed out for the next couple of laps, just trying to make sure I can get onto the mediums and run them with good tyre wears the rest of the race. Boothie's got a little run on me. I decided to let him pass because at the end of the day, there's no point in me just battling and holding him up, because that's just going to ruin my race. And at the end of that lap, I decided to pit for a new front wing and the medium tyres, so I'm not really knowing where I'm going to come out realistically. I've still got that 5-second penalty I need to serve as well. And as we rejoin the track, ESV gets past me on the straight, and that is me slap bang in the back of the grid. I'm literally in last place. Only 2 drivers are behind me, and that's Stumpy because he's out of the race, and Damien because he had a race ban due to penalty points, so I can only kind of go up from here. And as you can see on lap 11, I've got this little gap to Yoi, and I'm really trying to chase him down, but the issue is I couldn't quite catch him up. Like, I just seem to lose all pace on these medium tyres going on to this middle stint. So, you know, when Jeff and I think it's Joe that actually pitted behind me, I'm like, well, that's cool and all, but I just can't quite chase down Yui. And on the following lap, Jeb's got a nice little run on me, and he's up the inside, and going into the braking zone, I brake slightly later than him, and then I kind of go to turn in, expecting him to kind of use more of the curb, and he didn't, so then I kind of had to back out a bit more. But his exit was really slow off of the corner, and I don't know why, but it's cost me a lot of time. And now I've got Boothie all over my ass. He seems to try and want to go around the outside of me, backs off, then goes around the outside again, pulls alongside, backs off again, and I'm kind of just always on the inside of the corner, compromising my exit. He has to back off, and it's just not helping us at all. I mean, look how far Jeb's already gone up the road. I mean, when he originally overtook me before, like, I let him through, I backed off and let him through, and then this time he seemed a little bit impatient to get past because he didn't want to lose touch with Jeb. I get that, don't get me wrong, and I know he's got the tyre advantage and he's just generally quicker at this track and he's in a faster car, you know, that's completely fine. But when he just needs to wait until the start and finish straight, or, you know, the back straight, and then get the move done. I mean, you just got to think, look at the gap between me and Yui. It was like, I don't know, a second and a half, 2 seconds. Now he's about 10 seconds up the road just from those two trying to overtake me. But on lap 16, we've got a safety car. Whippy Hale is out of the Grand Prix. He's not having a good run at the minute. He got disqualified in Singapore for reasons unbeknown to me, and now he's retired from the race. You know, he's having a tough time. But at the end of this lap, I decide to pit for some soft tyres, so does Jeb, and I think, to be honest, like, literally everyone does. I mean, if I didn't pit, I could have gained so much track position that, now that I think about it, I probably should have stayed out, but I wanted the soft tyres because the mediums were literally garbage and I was really struggling for pace on them. But again, I'm slap bang in last place as the safety car is getting ready to restart. I don't really know what people are doing here. It's a really slow restart and it's all bunched up right at the final corner. And Jeb actually runs into the back of Boofy, so that's his front wing on. I say yoink, thank you very much, because we're in green flag racing. I'll take that position very nicely. But because I was overtaking him around the final corner, I kind of compromised my exit slightly. I've now lost track with Boofy and I can't really make a move up into the turn 2. And I know Boofy's quicker, so I'm just trying to stay with him. And there's a Ferrari off there. Myler was, I'm going to guess, like 3rd or something, and he's just off the track. Boofy then loses it under acceleration. He's gone, and we're under VSC again. That was a bit of a chaotic restart, but I'm up to P14, it's pretty good. And as the safety car is ending, you know what, I've got quite a bit of pace here. I'm ready to go all over the back of Carp. Joe manages to pit for some reason. He must have had some contact, but he's probably pitting to try and do a fastest lap. And then just like that, I managed to lose Carp literally in the space of 2 corners, and Boofy's all over my gearbox yet again. And this will be the 3rd time that Boofy's got past me this race, so he's just thinking, oh god, not again. But Yoi's dropping back all of a sudden. I don't know where he's come from, and he's just parked on the apex. Like, what's he doing? And again, like, why is he parked on the apex? I'm not too sure why, but Boofy's got past me, which was inevitable anyway. But I mean, come on, I don't know what he was doing at all. He's just cost me my race now. I mean, not like I had much of a race anyway, because like I'm in P12 now because of pit stops, but I've got no front wing. I was hoping to follow Boofy and try and use him as like a guide, because he is generally quicker at this circuit anyway than me. And especially if he made an overtake, I was hoping to follow him through with any overtakes that he makes, but that's out the window again. And you know, I'm just lumbering around in P12 now, counting the laps down. And King Pleb's got 15 seconds behind me. He pitted with the rest of the guys, so I'm kind of just going to monitor that gap and just nurse the car home really, and hope I can still finish in 12th. But as the laps count down, you know, he is catching me. He's just 5 seconds behind me now. He's caught my judge, spins, tries to spin back around and almost collected me, but you know, I got through it safely, so it is what it is. Missed that apex there like an absolute champ. And King Pleb is all over my gearbox as we're on the penultimate lap on the back straight, and he's starting to get a bit of a run on me, but I knew he wasn't close enough, so I stayed back on the left on the racing line, and King Pleb brakes really late. Probably didn't realise I had wing damage, so I had to back out of it. But I thought that's great for me, because at the end of the day, he couldn't overtake me during the final section. Then I got a nice exit out of the final corner, so I thought I'd be safe. And then as I brake, he comes from, again, absolutely nowhere, from around the outside. Lovely 3-second penalty for my troubles, but I didn't really expect him to be there, but I probably squeezed him a little bit as he was braking anyway, but it's the last lap in it, might as well go for all the glory. And I am literally just looking behind me at this point, you know, trying to save as much ERS as I can for this straight. He's all over me. I mean, my exit onto the back straight was just good enough, and again, coming into this corner, he's not quite close enough, but I do manage to outbrake myself, which I thought, that's just brilliant. And he's again all over my gearbox, and at this point I've just got to kind of keep my car in the right place. Like, unless he goes from a dive bomb, I pretty much know I'm safe. But this is the closest he's been yet. Doesn't dive bomb me into the penultimate corner. Is he going to dive bomb me into the final corner? No, he doesn't. And I just hold on for P11, which I get absolute fuck all for, but I will take it. It was a lovely battle. But congrats to Alan, who won the race. And as for penalties, EK Sam, who was originally finished 2nd, ended up finishing 6th place. I'm Blake Till I Die, ended up from 5th to 2nd. Snake and Rem still finish 3rd and 4th. As for the lower end of the points though, Classic, who originally finished P9, had a penalty for the incident with Cart by Judd. He drops down to 10th. Boofy, the little cheating brick, who had 6 time penalties for track extending. Jesus Christ, Boofy. Hashtag race ban for Boofy is never been more real. He drops from 10th to 11th because I, who originally finished in 11th, got my 5-second time penalty for that incident with Classic under safety car removed where I just didn't even touch him. It was complete bullshit. I got it removed, which means I actually finish in P9. But here is the standings after the Russian Grand Prix. Rem still out in front, but Snake only just catches him up with the 3rd and 4th. Retro Rixie takes 3rd place off of Jono because Jono has been here for a few weeks, can pleb close, and again Classic just not too far off the back of them. I dropped to P11 in the standings because of Alan's race win, with him being a new driver, but looking at the Constructor standings, Red Bull only get 2 points for Joe Numo's fastest lap. Renault catch them back up. Racing Point comfortably in 3rd. As for Toro Rosso, we leapfrog Williams into P7 with me and Classic both getting points, albeit 3 points between the two of us, but it's still better than nothing, which Williams got. So overall a P9 finish, which, you know, I'm quite happy with. There was some misfortune in that race, and yeah, I probably could have got more from it, but considering I was so off the pace at the start of the week and I was literally having setup issues like 10 minutes before the race, so I kind of just went with a setup, like my old setup, which I was kind of comfortable with, and just ended up changing the diff slightly when it was luckily a good change, which I was quite nice about. But next weekend is the Japanese Grand Prix, which I am not looking forward to. You know, the street circuit bad, and then there's Suzuka bad, so safe to say I'm going to be awful at that one. But that wraps it up for the Russian Grand Prix. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you later.